girl says, sorry, I'm busy, they take that as a no and they say, okay, I shouldn't press anymore because I need to respect this boundary. And the concern is if I push. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Decoding Dating. We are going to talk about flirting because I had the most interesting conversation with a young lady. And so when I was at a bar, I usually sit at the bar top and I read a book. And I love to talk to the guest patrons. And I ended up getting into a conversation with a lovely young lady who is struggling in her dating life. And she was saying that all men are dumb, all men are stupid. They don't understand flirting. She's out there trying to flirt with these men and they just don't get it. And I kind of laughed a little bit internally because I'm sitting there going, you are a bad flirt. Because the goal of flirting is one, either to build sexual tension, but more importantly, to make the other person know, hey, I am interested in you. Are you interested in me? And the fact that she was talking to all these men and not a single one of them was picking up the vibe of, hey, she's interested in me, tells me she's a bad flirt. So, oh my gosh, I was looking at it like, oh no, we have to teach people about how to flirt, or at least the basics of flirting. So,
Yeah.
do you have any crazy stories about flirting?
I don't, but I could remember. Okay, maybe I could remember one particular one. I was long time ago. I was working. I was still working at a grocery store. That was like my first ever job, and then there was this very handsome guy that actually walked by past my aisle, like my station. Like is it? I call it. Let me just say how. And I was looking very handsome. His hair well done, very handsome guy. I just said something like, oh yeah, your hair is really nice. I was smiling as usual. I'm like, oh, your hair is really, really nice. And I think for he and I think for some men, it's very hard for them to get compliments. So he was really, really excited. And I was like, oh, can I have your number? And I'm like, I felt like, okay, but it didn't really go much. But I just didn't want him to feel rejected after the compliment. But I felt like maybe to some guy, maybe that could have been flirting, like, okay, you smiling, you complimented him. And what I'm saying is sometimes flirting is that easy, and that's like more like an indirect flirting, really, because I wasn't doing that intentionally to get his attention or to make him feel like I like him. But kind of, it's also like, also basically that easy, that simple. Is that smile, it's that compliment, not cheesy compliment, like that nice, that compliment that actually shows that you're kind of genuine, right, with it. And there's no guy that you would say, wow, you look good. Like, I like your hair. It's easy, it's a compliment. It's not like you're cheap or trying to be pushy or anything. You're just giving a compliment. Most men would smile after a compliment. Most men love compliments. So that could be a great start, and you see where it goes.
Well, it's funny you say that because I remember working with a mentor, and the mentor very clearly told me. So this was a business mentor, and he said, when you're talking to people, people love compliments. People love if you say, hey, that's a nice dress. That's a nice shirt. I love your glasses. They love that stuff. However, he put a big asterisk on this. You have to be very careful when it comes to complimenting the opposite sex because it is often misconstrued as flirting.
Yeah, yeah,
When I
yeah.
think it comes from a place like people don't, they just don't receive compliments very often.
Hmm. Yeah, I think from as a lady, I basically, like, we ladies are used to compliment and we compliment each other. Like, I do that a lot. I could see a girl and say, "Oh my God, your hair." The thing is, for even for ladies, they really appreciate the lady to lady compliment, because when a girl compliments you, like, oh, that's really than a guy, because they feel like a guy could compliment you just to get something from you, just because he wants to get closer to you, but they always feel like a girl's compliment is more genuine. Now, when it comes to the guys too, I feel like from a girl to a guy, yes, it's that's just like the example I gave you. It's they will just feel like, oh, you like them. And that's okay if that's your intention, right? If your intention is to get his attention, yeah, why not, right? And see where it goes. Then there's one thing, if he says, if he's cold or he doesn't really show interest, maybe you said you complimented him and just like, okay, or he responded in a particular way, that's your cue to tell you that he's not really interested and you move on, right? But I think the fear for flirting is rejection for most people, and that's why they're very, very careful with that. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I love Dune because Dune has a great book or quote that says, "Fear is the mind killer, is the little death." And when it comes to flirting, most people they see someone that's attractive and they want to go flirting with them, but they're worried about screwing up, being embarrassed, or public humiliation. And so they don't go for it, which creates this interesting dynamic out in the dating world where I hear a lot of women talk about how creepy guys are. They're
Mm,
creepy or they're chads or they're essentially, what are they called? F boys. And the reason why women have this skewed representation is because about 85% of men don't really approach. They don't flirt because they're too scared. And so the ones that are approaching are the F boys that they just approach everybody, or the creepy people because they just don't care. And so then the normal regulated guys, they don't go out and flirt with women because that's scary. I might get rejected.
that's crazy. Growing up though, back in Nigeria, I think it's the norm was that guys walk up to girls to talk to them. Basically, though, we were not very dating app is just started becoming popular, right? At that time, we didn't even really have anything like dating app. So and then we don't call it flirting, we call it toasting. So the guy is toasting you, and the guy has to really have very strong pickup lines, like there are guys that their job is to practice these nice pickup lines because they want to make sure that they say those sweet words. Like the thing about Nigerian men are they're very good with words. They will tell you this beautiful thing that will make your mind go crazy, and it could also be as simple as, "Hey, how are you? Where are you coming from?" Um, I've been seeing you walk by a few times. What's your, those kind of small little conversation. And most of the time, the ladies will always say, "Can I think about it?" Most women won't give a direct, they're like, "Okay, let me think about it." And the guy is very persistent, is always coming around. So it's more like girls like then they feel like, okay, I like his moves. He has very sweet words, these moves. And but let me see how far I can go, right? Let me see how persistent he is, and then she can just give him. The more persistent, the more she's like, okay, let's see how it goes, right? But back home, it's called toasting, and the guys are more confident to walk to you and not worried about rejection because they get rejected a lot. But it's just they got used to because that was the only option to get a girl. So they got used to that. Okay, she might say yes or she might say no, and the girls are the one waiting, they're being pursued, right? There are situations where a girl would like a guy and they will flirt, obviously, like they will flirt obviously, like the guy would know that she would, do all this fancy nice thing, walk around, bend, all those things. The guy be like, there's no way this girl likes me. And he plays along or not depending on his situation, but it's interesting how it's different in different, culture and
Well, it's fascinating because it's toasting,
yeah.
but in the Western world, it's just flirting. Or we talk about it as approaching, men approaching. But if a man's approaching with you, he's going to be flirting with you. And I think when I look at North American dating culture specifically, because I go to the bars a lot, I love to read a book and just people watch. This is my jam every Sunday. And I've noticed there's a disconnect in the dating culture. One of which is women who are single and they're kind of interested in looking for a man are not telegraphing to the male audience, hey, I am single and I want to be approached. But then also on top of that, I'm looking at men, and these men don't want to approach because they're not sure if the woman wants them to approach them or not, and they're just kind of scared of that rejection. And so there's this like interesting dynamic that I've seen at the bar where the women will sit in groups at tables, and then the single men will sit at the bar, and no one talks to each other. It's like this weird segregation in the bar where women are on this side, the men are on that side. But you can tell some of the women are interested because they're up, they're looking around. They're trying to look at guys. And you can tell some of the guys are interested because they're also kind of looking around. But nobody's talking, nobody's approaching, and nobody is making themselves approachable.
I think that's a good one. But I think one cue is the women are looking around. That's also them using their body language to tell the guys that, oh, I'm looking around, I'm looking for something, right? I think one advice that I got from, I think I watched it all from TikTok or something. Is like more girls need to start going out alone. I'm telling, like, you are, if you want to be if you want to be single for a very long time, keep going out. No, it's good to go out with your girls, perfect, but don't always go out with groups. Like, it's good, go out by yourself. And I think that's a fear that some people have, is that they can't even go out and enjoy their time alone at the cafe or at the bar. There's no way, like, as a girl, if you go to the bar by yourself, right? Sit close to the, bartender, which is most of the time, I'll say maybe 6 out of 10, a guy might sit close to you or something. That shows that you're invited, because it's like it's very odd to see a girl just sit down by herself. So that shows that that's already showing that I'm interested. I'm looking for, a conversation or whatever. Higher chance a guy will walk up to you compared to if you're with your group of girls. Because it's those guys will be scared of judgment. Like, if I come to her and she this and that, that. So I think it's that with, let's ladies, from a lady standpoint, go out by yourself, go to the bars by yourself, go to the restaurant by yourself, and be open. Don't have the airport. Be open, be welcoming, be inviting with your posture, and see where that goes. But usually it works most of the time.
Well, I love that you said that, which is ultimately you have to be approachable, because I see a lot of women, they go out, they're interested in finding a mate, but then they're going out with their friends and they're sticking to their friends. And from a man's perspective, I will immediately rule you out as somebody I want to approach if I have to go up and entertain 8 other women. Because at that point, I feel like I'm going to get judged by a council of women. And when I leave, they're going to gossip about me and they could potentially harm my reputation. And I don't want that. I don't want to be publicly humiliated. So it's that idea that if if you want to get flirted with, the first thing you got to do is either go out by yourself, or if you're with a group of girls, to get yourself in situations where you're alone, because men will not approach if there's a group of women. The larger the group, the less likely you are to be approached. And so it's that idea of, like, if you want to get approached, like, create that exit strategy. I remember talking to one girl and she said, yeah, but that's scary. My safety is a big concern for me. And so she ended up creating this strategy where she would go to the bar, and if she needed to talk to a guy, they would say, are you here alone? She's like, no, I'm waiting for a friend. And that's the cue to say, hey, no, I have somebody coming, even if she didn't, and to tell him my time is limited. And then if the conversation went well, the conversation continued. However, if she needed an exit strategy, she would look at her phone and say, oh, I'm so sorry. It looks like my friend got confused and went to a different bar. I'll have to pay and head out. It's a pleasure meeting you. And just extricate yourself from that situation. Because there are ways that you can be open, but also be safe.
Mm. Okay, that's actually an interesting one. Actually, yeah, I think safety from a safety standpoint, very that helps a lot, because especially when you go to the bar, there are creepy people there. A lot different type of people come to the bar, and when it comes to even trying to find someone, depending on the kind of people you're looking for, if you're looking for something short term or just one night stand, or you can, bar is like the popular place to go, because that's where some guys go to find girls, for the night or whatever. So that kind of thing, I think it's even, yeah, so that works. But the point where the only thing I agree with the fact that yeah, you can always arrange with your friends or you look at your phone and say, oh yeah, my friend went to the wrong bar. Or but when you sell like if when you tell a guy that oh I'm waiting for someone, majority of the time he just walks away because he doesn't know who the person you're waiting for is. He a guy? Is he a girl? Majority of the time, the guy might not want to go deeper. They might just say, oh, okay, that's fine. Take care then. But I feel like you could say, you could be open and say, oh, no, no, I'm just here to I just want to watch sports or something. I'm just here to just have a nice time, just have fun. And the guy could talk to you and get to know you. And if it's boring or creepy, just say, oh, sorry, I just got a test. I need to have an emergency. I need to rush out. Right. So you can just cut that off and move. Or get a call and just go out and pick up your call. But yeah, sometimes what you say can mean that you're inviting or you're pushing them away. I remember a particular time I was at there was a kind of like an event, and I was there with my friend, and there was a guy that walked up to me and it was like talking to me, and I was like, me, I'm from like right from when I was in Nigeria. Like when you come to me, talk to me. I'm not rude. I'm not rude with you, to you because I feel like you're somebody else's, like you say, you're human, right? And you're someone's son. I don't know why. Why do I need to be rude to you because you walk up to me? There are girls that are very rude. When you walk up to them, like, yeah, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. So for me, the guy was talking to me, and I smiled and I shook his hand and I said, "Hi, how are you?" I was like, "Oh, I knew that he was interested or whatever," and I wasn't single then, but I still feel like it deserves respect. Him coming to me is not, he doesn't know who I am. So I need to introduce myself to him, basically. And my friend was like, why are you speaking to him? Why can't you, cuss him or whatever? I said, I don't do that. So basically, what I'm saying is, regardless, and this is why a lot of people are fearful to approach people because they are very fearful of insult or embarrassment. But basically, what I'm saying is, respect people if you want to be respected. Like, be open, even if you're not interested, even if you're not single. When someone walks up to you, kindly say no. Kindly say, okay, this is who I am. Kindly introduce yourself. It doesn't hurt anybody. Be nice, guys.
Oh my God, this has reminded me of when I approached a woman. It was at a coffee shop, and I was a younger man, and I saw this beautiful woman, and I approached her, and I said, "Hi, is this seat taken?" And she looked at me, she looked at the seat, she looked at me, the seat, and said, "No, God, no, no, God, no, no." I was like, one no would have been enough. Like, you could have just said, "Sorry, I would just like to read." Like, you didn't have to.
Mhm.
It was a brutal rejection, I'm gonna be honest with
Oh,
you.
really?
And I remember looking around, there's a couple people looking at me, and I was like,
So she was pretty loud.
so it's one of those things of, not only did I work up the courage to approach her, and sure, you could have said I could have done it better. However, the public humiliation involved was like, all right, I'm not gonna approach women in coffee shops after that.
Oh yeah, I think that's yeah. Yeah, I think two things. Okay. The facial expression too would say a lot if she's really rejection was hard, but also she could also be like maybe she's never used to someone saying that, right? Maybe she's never used someone just coming to her and say, "Let me sit close to you in front of you," and it could be the shock reaction of oh, like she's in shock, right? Maybe that could have been because she could easily still say oh, sorry, there's someone there. Oh, sorry, I don't want you to sit there. But she still said, no, no, no. I think it was more, I saw it more like a shocking reaction, but still open in a way. But, and that's why I said I wasn't there. So I do not know expression to match it with that. But I would feel like it was from a place of shock. Maybe she's not used to that. People coming to say, I want to sit close to you. But you're at a coffee shop, people will just leave and stay away. And, maybe that could be. But like I said, I don't know a Fisher reaction to say.
Well, it was probably shock. I'll be on a level with you. It was probably shock. She was probably startled. She's like, I've never encountered this situation before. that really doesn't matter because young Adam, how he took it was like, I am repulsive. I am an individual that is ugly and that is kind of creepy. And I was like, I don't want to be associated with those things. It was
Mm.
it was rough.
That's rough, right? Yeah, so I think that's the thing about and I think the place and time too matters with flirting, right? Like a noisy I don't know, like when you go to the library and like, the library is quiet, like, hi, how are you? Well, you're supposed to be talking in the library anyway. But, a cafe that is noisy might be. I feel like cafe is a great place to meet people because like you're not in your house, it's where people come to have meetings and chat with their friends. I feel like it's always a perfect place, like your approach where you walked up to and say, can I sit here? That's the first step, basically. Like you have to sit first before you start talking. You're not gonna stand and she's sitting and you're talking to her. So it's not a bad approach at all. Like it was for me. I think if you come and say, "Can I sit there?" That's already telling me that you kind of want to talk to me, or you kind of showing some type of interest. And I'll be, if I want you to talk to me, I'll say, "Yeah, sit down." So that was a good approach actually. And so it wasn't about you.
Well, it is the funny thing. So when I talk to people about how to approach, they say, Adam, what are some icebreakers? And I always tell them a good icebreaker gets them talking. And
Mm,
so women love men that are funny. Men love women that are their best cheerleaders. So if I tell a joke, I want a woman that laughs. The more she laughs, the better I feel, the more I'm going to keep going. And so men always, I mean, we talk about it as a pickup line of, hey, do a cheesy, corny pickup line, make them laugh. And then through that, see if they laugh back. Like, and when it comes to an icebreaker, just start. Just ask a question. Hey, can I sit here? Hey, are you busy? Usually I do a corny pickup line because I'm like, this is gonna sound cheesy, but how much does a polar bear weigh? And she's like, how much? Because she's heard it
right,
before, like enough to break the ice. So how you doing?
right, yeah. From a girl perspective, I think like, from a girl perspective, I would say, looking at it. What will a guy tell me that would want me, that would show interest, or that would get my interest or my attention? I would say, uh, I feel like for a ladies, like ladies would like compliments and compliments in a more genuine way, like it's like, you know I used to see a lot of TikTok videos where a guy would just walk to a girl and she just bring the kind of like just want to hold her hands, or that confidence. Girls like confidence guys that are confident, like shows he knows what he wants. You can come to me and say, hey, how are you? um wow, where you like just conversation. It could be as simple as easy as conversation. Yeah, I think I like bold guys. I like guys that are bold, that can come and tell me what this is what I want. You don't necessarily you don't have to really come up with a joke, because a joke can be very dry and I may not even find it interesting. That might even turn me off, right? It depends on the kind of joke if it's not funny. Um, or you could come with a nice compliment. Could be, oh, wow, what book are you? Or when I'm in a coffee shop, what coffee are you having? Coffee, or is that chai or whatever? I'm like, then I'm gonna talk. It's as easy. It's something that I can relate to at the moment. It could be like maybe there's a band going. I'm like, wow, is that not a beautiful, lovely band? Like, oh yeah, it is. There's no way I'm gonna respond, right? Oh wow, that's a lovely shirt. What is that? What is that written on it? Oh yeah, it says. Oh, then I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's basically something that you can relate to right in that environment, or maybe on me or around the environment. Something that is, I can respond to. Kind of, is that easy? It could be something, a small detail on a shirt, or that shows that girl like, it's very attentive. It's very
Well,
attentive.
and when we look at humans love to feel special.
Hmm.
We love to feel special. We like to feel like we're the only ones. And so when we're noticing something about another person, we want to be specific. So, for
Mm.
example, earrings. You would go up to a woman and say, oh, I love those earrings. What type of stone are they? And it feels special in the moment because how many guys compliment earrings? not a whole lot. Or their necklace, or maybe a shirt that they're wearing. I see a lot of guys just say, "Oh, you're so beautiful." And it's like, "Cool. That's too generic. You're not making me feel special."
Yeah, it's not special, basically. Like you said, like is that detail? Is that, oh wow, this guy looked at me to the point of seeing the my shirt and the design or whatever. Or is, I think it's just that interest that they want to show, you want to show her that you are kind of interested. It's not like you look beautiful. Oh, you're so tall. Oh, I like your smile. So now, for example, if you come to her and be like, "Oh, did you see that band? It's really nice." And she said, "Yeah." And she smiles. Like, "Wow, you have a beautiful smile." Oh, I said, "Oh, thank you." And then the conversation starts from there. Like, "Oh, I'm this," and it goes with, "I'm this." Introduce yourself right away, and there's that contact of handshake. Yeah, can I sit here? Oh yeah, feel free, sit down. Okay, then you start talking. It's the flow, right?
Yeah, you just flow it. And I mean, even if the band example, just go up and say, "You look like somebody who knows their music. What did you think of the band?"
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you just start there because you're saying, "Hey, I noticed something about you. You're special." And you open it up with a question of, "I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear your thoughts."
Mm-hmm.
But I think that comes into the next point, which is flirting needs to be light and playful. Too many people get too serious. For example, I'm terrible with names. I'm absolutely horrific with names. And I remember I was flirting with a girl and she told me her name. Her name was Julia. And I forgot it. And I was like, "Oh shit." And so as we're having this playful banter, I asked her I was like, "I'm so sorry. Completely forgot your name." And you know what she said? "You forgot my name?" And it was the biggest turnoff in the world because I'm sitting there going, "I'm trying to be fun and playful with you, and all of a sudden you got super serious, and now I'm feeling like I'm being scolded, and I don't even know you."
Right?
And if she had just said to me, "Oh, you forgot my name? I'll tell it to you, but you have to make it up to me."
Yes.
Completely different, because now it's like, this is fun, this is light, this is exciting, this is suggestive. Let's go for it.
Yeah. That's a great example, right? You as you see. And I think the thing is, it wasn't about you, that made that respond like that. Now, like you said, you're very bad I'm bad at names too. I have to basically write names down. To
It's a
forget.
human condition.
Right? Like you tell me your name. If I'm really okay, like if I'm really interested, and I can mark it. Like if it has to be like I could be interested, but I'm not maybe interested in something else about you. I mean, forget your name. But I feel like it's an attitude thing too. Like it's not on you, but it's a attitude. And that differentiates to different people. Like you gave an example, the way she responded and the other alternative response that you gave about, oh, then I have to make you do something to get net. So that's two different people. And who is going to go on a date with that guy? The one that is more jovial and open would go on the dates because she's already presented herself inviting and not difficult. Nobody really wants difficult person at the first, you know, conversation, right? So, and I think that's what makes a lot of people think, oh, why am I not getting a lot of people come, ask me out or approach me? Sometimes you need to check your attitude. You need to, because no matter how whatever what approach a man brings to you, maybe it's nice, it's smiling, comes to the joke. But if you are very stiff, if you are very calculative, if you are very closed minded, you might find a lot of things offensive. You might interpret a lot of his gesture, whatever. So I think sometimes your attitude matters.
Oh, it matters so much. If I'm hitting on a girl and I feel like I'm being judged, if I feel like this is any kind of negative emotion kind of going on, maybe she's being too serious, I'm just not interested. It has to be just fun and playful. And even if you're not interested, you just keep it fun and playful, and then you just extricate yourself from the situation. I
Mm.
remember I was being hit on by a girl. I had no desire to just be with this woman. But I kept it light, I kept it fun, and at the end of the night, I thanked her and I just went on my way. And I let her down easy, but it wasn't that thing of, let me just flat out tell you I'm not interested. Because that's just being mean and that's
Yeah.
being rude. And at the end of the day, she had the courage to approach me. And so I have to honor that. Like, I have to say, thank you for approaching me. I do appreciate it. However, I do have to put up my boundaries. And if she did push my boundaries, then we'll talk.
And that got me thinking. I think, do you think that most men now are kind of not, how do I say it? They give up easily. So, for example, if you walk up to a girl and you ask her out, like that other girl, and she said, "Oh, how would you know about the name thing?" The first girl with the attitude. And do you think why not do you think guys just give up easily these days without actually going further and just give up because they're scared? Why not try? What do you think? Do you think guys give up?
They've been conditioned to give up easier. And so when we look at it, for example, no means no. And this is where guys get confused because they've been told no means no. And so when a girl says, sorry, I'm busy, they take that as a no and they say, okay, I shouldn't press anymore because I need to respect this boundary. And the concern is if I push, I will be labeled creepy and or have my reputation smeared online. There may be huge social repercussions from this. And so if a girl is being too stern with him, the concern is like, okay, I need to stop because this could have damaging social repercussions for me as an individual. And so I need to walk away from this. So in a weird way, it's kind of come to this idea of men need to feel safe when flirting. And right now, with the societal landscape being what it is, it's kind of dangerous as a man to flirt with a woman.
Well, that's really interesting though. Like it's so crazy and it's good to know, right? That so you don't feel like because the guy is not really approaching anymore or he's not really persistent means that he doesn't like you. It's just the fact that he's being careful as well. Because I understand right now men are even to hug some points or it could be seen as something else. So it's very important that as a man too, you're very careful not to push boundaries because we love. I hear that a lot. No means no. Yes, I understand that, which is good, especially when you teach your kids and you teach your younger people. But yeah, I could understand the reason. It's interesting though that that's what we live in. Growing up, it wasn't like that where guys are praised for he's very persistent. There are situations where, it may be thought right that the girl will say yes to it. Not that and that's because he has proven himself to the girl that okay, he's really worthy, he wants her, he's intentional. Then she'll be like, okay, let me give him a try. But the first time, she'll be like, who is this guy? Right? You know. But unfortunately, in this part of the world, and now I would say it's different now. A guy can't just do that. When you say no, you say no is no. So I would say, yeah, that's
Well, it's
crazy.
fun. It's funny you say that because I worked at a college and they had a campaign. It was about consent, and it's specifically geared around dating, where they say if a girl says no or if a guy says no, but it's very clear that it was more targeted towards women. They said if a woman says no,
Mm,
you have to stop. And
wow.
there were instances on the campus where the woman said no and the guy pushed and then got reported to the campus authorities. And there was a huge hassle with him, huge, massive headaches. It ended up threatening his education, which ended up threatening his finances. And because he had come over to Canada, it also threatened his housing situation. And
Wow.
so when we looked at it, it was like, it's dangerous. It is dangerous. If you do not want to be approaching somebody and then having your livelihood or your education or your housing situation ruined. And so, again, it's that idea of if she says no, you just take it
Yeah.
because the consequences of pushing can be rough.
Yeah. 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 So that's interesting. Yeah. So I think from the man perspective, it's a bit more not as easier, I would say. Like a girl can easily flirt and get away with. I see a lot of experiment. Girls towards guys. They are touching him and they are doing all these things on TikTok. But it feels like to some point it's okay. Because I don't know, because I think guys are more a bit relaxed and open-minded or whatever. So a guy can as a come and hug and stuff. But when it comes from the and I could understand that that's because maybe they feel that the women are more, should be taking, they're more on the fragile side, so which means they need to be protected more compared to a guy can actually defend himself. So when a girl, you can always set the boundaries, you can always control yourself, you can always protect yourself. But a girl, at some point, she needs some type of protection as well because she's more on that side. But
Well, when we look at our society, we fundamentally view women as a protected portion of the population.
yeah,
This is why we have female locker rooms. This is why we have female washrooms, is because we as a society understand that there are some men that are predators out there and are looking to harm women. And we get that. However, when it comes to the whole dating situation, I think we've skewed a little too far into the protection aspect of things, because I've heard it from some of my female colleagues and even some of my female clients of, I said no to him. I wish he just had tried harder. I wish, like, I said no, but I really meant yes. I just wanted him to push a little harder. It's like, in today's political landscape, it is dangerous for a guy who gets a no to push harder.
yeah. So it's crazy because it's really hard to advise on that. I think maybe another approach could be, you could walk up to a girl if you really, really, really like her. If you really like her, maybe ask for a number after maybe one or two conversation. And if you feel like she's not comfortable, or you say, "Can I have your number?" or "Can I have your Instagram?" and whatever, and then continue the conversation from there. Right? Maybe that's another alternative than to be pushing or pushy in that, in a different, like in a cafe or whatever, if she's not, because some people are shy. Some people are very shy, and then maybe that's why she's not comfortable. But then maybe, okay, proceed and say, "Okay, my name is Daisy. Here's my number," and then give her the chance to basically call you. Give her your number and leave it there. And if she likes you too, okay, right? Give her that power to be able to.
Exactly. Like, when you're flirting with somebody, see how the conversation goes. Is it light? Is it fun? Did you have fun? Were there breaks in the conversation of just emptiness? Generally speaking, if there's just emptiness in a conversation, we probably shouldn't ask them for their number.
Mm.
However, if it's fun, if there's a lot of banter back and forth, if she's smiling, she's laughing, you're laughing, it's a good time. Awesome. There's the green light. Ask for the number. However, sometimes you just get this feeling, it's like, oh no, they're laughing because they're just being polite. And how you can usually tell is there's always a little bit of an awkward silence, and they're not bantering back with you in any way, shape, or form. They're just, haha, yeah, that's funny. And then just kind of moving on.
Right. But anyway, if that's your case, at least you tried.
Yeah,
There's no loss. Like I don't see any loss in being rejected. What I always say is, I go to a cafe. You go to a cafe, you don't know anybody there. They are not related to you in any way. You walk up to somebody and she rejects you or whatever. There's no loss. You tried. Two things could happen. She could say yes, or she could say no. So something beautiful could happen from it, or not. But at least you tried. And if it's a no, then it's a no. Then you move on. But that should motivate you, at least the confidence to even walk up to the person to start with, and then gather that confidence again and go to the next until you find your woman, if that's the case, right?
well, the only way to get good at flirting is to flirt, and
Yeah,
you're going to screw it up. Like, you just are. But you have to keep going out there and you have to experiment and you just have to try. And so I always praise people when they just get out there and they just start flirting. Just start. That's all you have to do, and see where it goes.
yeah. It's not that yeah, it's not that complicated, because you learn, you get better. You try different lines. You try with joke. You try with buying a drink, different lines, and whatever works for you, you stick to it, maybe. And the thing is, for different people, different things would work. It's not going to be that one particular way that works for everybody, but the goal is keep trying. So, Adam, if you want to, like, what kind of give an example or advise people on how to flirt, because I think a lot of people don't even know how to.
So when it comes to flirting, there's different levels to it. So you have to think of flirting as a escalation ladder where you're trying to slowly build sexual tension. And a lot of people just jump up to like the 8th or ninth rung and they're making sexual innuendos when they just met the person. That's not what we do. When we go up and you start with an icebreaker. Hey, I love your earrings. Oh, that's a nice laptop. Where'd you get it? You just start with an icebreaker. When we're asking questions, I always recommend what questions. Don't do why questions, how, don't say yes or no questions. Start with a what question because that'll always trigger the other person to just open up the conversation. Keep it fun. Maybe keep it a little bit suggestive. Don't sexualize it. And if the conversation's going well, if things are kind of moving along, then there's the physical touch aspect of it. Touch the other person, see how they react. Do they touch you back? But you have to approach that barrier and kind of cross it. Because what I see is, for example, many women, they just kind of sit by themselves and they don't want to touch the other guy, but they really like him. And then the guy leaves and he goes, I didn't feel it with her. I didn't feel that spark or connection. It's like, well, of course you didn't feel the spark or connection. She didn't touch you. She didn't reciprocate any of that flirting. And then she's sitting there going, oh, he's such a nice guy. I hope I talk to him again. Like, there is a disconnect happening. So when it comes to flirting, I always recommend keep it light, keep it a little suggestive. You do have to touch the other person at one point, but keep it brief. Maybe it's a touch on the shoulder. Maybe it's a touch on the hand. Something just to break that physical barrier and ask more of those what questions. Oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, that's so cool. What do you think about this? Keeps the conversation kind of moving and flowing. What are your thoughts?
It's interesting. Yeah, it's good. I like those points actually. So I think that's something that people could apply and see how hopefully that would help them boost their confidence. One thing I about the touch aspect is, I think people could like, oh, touch, because we are very particular about touch, and especially at the first time. And touch is handshake. As easy as that. Hi, how are you? My name is this. Nice to meet you. Best. Period. You shake hands, this. Or maybe you're backing them and they just say, hey, how are you? Just tap quickly and turn. Now, and I think those are the kind of appropriate type of touch for the first time. It's not like, oh, you're touching their lap already. Oh, now there's sometimes when you're laughing, hey, I do that a lot. I just kind of tap on you. So that's normal. And you see their reaction. Okay. Because that says a lot of things too. When you tap someone, like jokingly, you're laughing, and the way they respond tells you, will they be playful? Are they playful people? Are they very, because like, like this person is too stiff or she's too. It tells a lot about their personality as well. Or they might not be touchy people. Some kind of touchy people. But like I said, that's why handshake is never wrong. Handshake is always the best way to go. They're going, oh, nice to meet you. Shake hands. And then you can actually feel like, oh, such a gentleman. Oh, wow, she has such a soft hand. A lot of things can come from that. But like, yeah, so that's the only thing that I could.
Well, I have to put a caveat out there because sometimes I've had handshakes before. And I'm like, oh, is this a business interaction? Got it. This is a very business handshake.
Yes.
It's like, hello, my name is Adam. I'm da 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 da. Sorry, your name again? It's very transactional, very business-like. So I would always encourage if it's going to be a handshake, just to play around with the handshake.
Yeah, play around it.
Different handshakes can be kind of suggestive. They can be a little bit more flirty. I mean, it's like a hug. There's
Yeah,
different types of hugs that you
yeah.
can give somebody that say different things. And it's all the idea is we want to be fun, we want to be flirty, we want to keep things light.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's all about it. Yeah, so guys, be bold. I think for yeah, be bold. I think right now I see that it's really flirting has actually really reduced. I think it's really going down, and I think from the point of fear as well, and the fact that people are just also sick and tired of rejection. Phone flirting, for example, I've seen a lot of people talk about the fact that when you're talking to someone on the phone, maybe they met on dating app, the guy goes so quick to sexual type of flirting. Oh my god! And for a lot of women, they hate it. I don't know. It looks like some point some people don't know how to. Let's say, let me even avoid the physical flirt. Don't know even how to test. They don't know how to. Like they don't know what to say. The same thing when a guy walks up to you, he doesn't know what to say. The same people are so terrible at flirting, even from dating app. They very, very like from the I've seen a lot of women who say, look at him. Just a second message or so, he's already asking, making some silly, stupid joke. And that would actually turn off some women. So be very
Well, I think when it comes to dating apps, something to consider is women get flirted with a lot. And so they have very high standards when it comes to flirting. And it's to the point that many men feel like they have to go above and beyond. For example, even getting into love bombing, because they understand that the woman that they are texting or messaging is getting bombarded with just flirting pickup lines. And so they feel that, hey, I need to go above and beyond to just flirt with her to get her attention. And the great irony is, I remember talking to one lady who said, flirting's so easy. Like, I could do it in my sleep. And then I saw how she was flirting. I go, you're a terrible flirt. You're honestly awful. I think she ended up having a very skewed opinion of her flirting skills because she was used to being the judge of other people's flirting, but she was never the one that had to flirt.
yeah, I could understand the thing with dating app. I think it's more dating app is even more challenging, as I would say. Like you said, from the guy perspective, where he's just love bombing you just to get your attention and all. And you said the fact that also women have high standard and they are very because a lot of guys have moves, right? And they play games and the women want to be sure that this is not a game that is playing. This is actually someone that is actually intentionally is interested in me intentionally, right? Yeah. And when it comes to flirting, for women, like you said with the other lady, that maybe she's probably bad flirting. I think the best way to know if you're bad or good at flirting is the results. Like, what is the percentage of good results versus bad results? As a woman, if every one for women, I don't ask that. Don't make it very obvious for women. I don't know. Be a lady. I feel like be a lady. Don't make him feel like you are just I don't know, like I think if I'm a guy, most girls, guys I know, they always say, from a girl, they like it when a girl, you just be smooth with it, be intentional about it, but don't throw yourself on him. Go to the bar, you're drunk, and you just throw yourself on him. It shows it might actually say a lot about you and how it would respect and treat you. It might or how it will take you seriously or not. So in a way, be sophisticated, like be a lady and approach, feminine power is your feminine power to get to make him know that you're interested. It's even with the stare. Like this, so this is like for guys, for example, when a guy sits, like a confident guy, you sit at the corner of at the bar and you look at the girl. It's not a perfect way. If guys you're looking out there, this is perfect. Just look at her. Look at her, let her know you're looking at her. And when she sees you, don't stop. Keep looking. Oh, that's the perfect. That's the sweetest way of flirting. Then she takes her eyes, she looks back, and you're still looking, and then smile. Trust me, you've already like kind of done something to her already. She's like, she will say, "That guy likes me. He's looking at me." That's a very Don't remove your eye. Like, make sure you lock your eye with her eyes and keep staring and smile. The girl too. That works for girls too. Look at him. Look at him. Smile. Smile. Look away. Let him know that you're looking and let him know. There's no way. One, two things will happen. Is that he ignores you or he would walk up to you by himself. And that's the point. The point is you want him to walk up to you. That's it. You're at the cafe, you're sitting down. The way you position yourself, says a lot. Could invite the person. And if you see a guy that you like, just look at him briefly. You could smile and take your eyes off and be like, hmm, there's no way he would know that you like him. Look at him again. Most of the time, if he likes you, that's the thing. If he likes you, if he doesn't like you, he's gonna ignore you. But if he likes you, will come.
Well, exactly, and it comes down to the results. I remember there's one woman, she's incredibly autistic and
Mm,
incredibly logical. And so what she did was she started a spreadsheet and she started just flirting and seeing success rate. Because at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, the results are going to tell you if it's working or not.
yeah.
And so that's what she started doing. She started just testing things out. She did the eye contact thing and she found out it wasn't really working for her. And so she changed up her tactic. And she was like, she's looking back on the spreadsheet, goes, okay, this is working for me. I need to keep doing it. This is not working for me. Maybe I need to tweak it or get rid of it completely. Because flirting is an art and you have to experiment with it.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's an hat, I would say. Even staring is an hat. It's not staring like looking dead to their faces, but it's just more like a gentle and soft way. Even with your smile, it's not like just smiling all crazy, but it's the way you smile. And also presentation is also very important. Guys are very visual. So how do you present yourself? Sometimes a girl, you can walk up to the room and guys will turn their necks to look at you. It is the way you're dressed. Not that it doesn't have to be very revealing, no. It is the way, it is your confidence, your presence, the way you walk, is your this thing is how you work, is how you carry yourself. And so that would even attract some type of guy. The way you dress will attract some type of guy too. So depending on who you're trying to look for and where you're going to look for it. So it's an art. So it's practice. So staring is not just staring. Staring is staring softly. It's that stare, that flirting stare, that flirting smile. Even your tone when you speak. Some points, like some people are loud. Like I went to a place yesterday, and the receptionist, for example, a lady came to drop off a document, and she was very loud, like the way she was responding. So a guy comes to you and he's talking to you, like, "Hey, my name is." You're screaming. You already embarrassing him already because already the confidence to walk up to you. Maybe gathered all his confidence to walk up to you, but then when he's talking to you, you're screaming. So it's more like, "Hi, how are you? My name is." It's how you respond, the soft tone, the soft voice. You understand that it took him a lot to come to meet you, and you want that time to be worthwhile if you like him or not. You do not have to be rude, I always say that, but give him that respect and that audience and speak softly. Understand that it's your moment, right? And yeah.
Well, and tone is so important. It's funny. So when I talk to many of my female clients, they need to understand that men love to chase. However, you need to invite them to chase. And that's where tone kind of comes in, keeping it light, keeping it flirty. And a fabulous example of this is I remember talking to one client, and the guy was flirting with her, and he says, "This has been going really well. Uh, can I'd love to take you out on a date if you're interested." Was it the most elegant? Not really. However, she said, "Sorry, I'm busy. I'm a very busy woman. Uh, I don't think I can fit you in this week." And she was actually interested in seeing this guy again, but how she came across was, "I'm not interested," which ended up the guy's like, "All right, I'm just going to move on." And if she had just changed her tone and simply said, I'm very busy this week, but I think I can make some space for you sometime in the near future or something like that. It would have been a little bit more fun. It would have been a little bit more flirty. It's telling him, hey, my time is precious. but hey, I can fit you in. And it's inviting him to chase, saying, oh, this woman's a busy woman. I want to chase her. I want to follow up with her. It's, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's actually very interesting. Yeah, the tone, how you say it. I understand that for that lady. I think she's also trying to play, a bit hard to get. Like it's not that easy to, I like, and you said it right. Like it's how you say it. You're not just saying no, but also making accommodation for some a different time. And you could be very playful, be like, "Oh, are you asking me out?" Like the way you can say things like, okay, this week though is this, maybe next week. What about next week? Next, okay, I have your number, so yeah, let's chat. Let's continue from there. You know, and the guy feels like he feels happy. He goes over and says, "Oh yeah, I can't wait for next week," and that gives him more time to plan the dates and all that fun stuff. But yeah, yeah, flirting is actually fun if you're good at it. Some people are naturally good at flirting.
Oh,
Naturally good.
some people are amazing flirts, but they don't take it seriously. I think a lot of people, when they start flirting, they're under the impression that I am going to meet my wife and or a husband, and I have to take this very seriously because this is a job interview.
Mm,
And the people that are naturally good at flirting, they're just like, I'm just going to have fun. I just want to have fun with you. Are
mm,
you a fun person to be around? We're going to find out.
mm,
And the conversation just flows. But
mm.
it's when people take it a little bit too seriously and they're vetting this potential person before they even open their mouth, it's like it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to look at it. It's looking at it from a place of fun, like looking at it as an interaction that should be fun and nice, interesting, easy. But when it's like getting to a point where you are handling it like your life depends on it, most of the time it doesn't work. It's like robotic, right? Like you say hi, you've already kind of programmed or kind of planned what you're going to say after the order. A different woman can look at it differently. Some women will say that this is very cute. Like you are taking your time to actually plan it detail by detail. Now, if she likes you, she just smile and just laugh and just make it easy. Like just kind of make it playful and fun for you. Or it can really turn off a lot of women. Like, what is this? Like, is this how you do? Is this how you do with all girls? You just come up with your line structure like that, and you think you can just throw one or two, and you think I will just, go out with you or whatever, or go on with you, whatever. But yeah, basically, it should be fun. I feel like relationship should be fun. It should be beautiful. It should be sweet. Your life, your role in each other, like this person in your life should be beautiful. They should make your life beautiful. When it comes to the point where your mental health is worse with a person in it, there's no, I don't know what you are doing, but what are you doing with a person? If you're gonna come home and it's it's hard, it's question from questions, it's tension, I'm sorry, you are just in it's not useful. And I think the same thing too. The same thing with, and that starts with the first encounter, right? There are situations where some people are, I've met friends, for example, where when I meet them for the first time, they're very stiff and not friendly. But then when I get to know them, they're probably the nicest people, right? So that could be, some people are they look very tough, you know, exterior wise, like they're very tough outside, and and that's because maybe there are so many things in their mind. But then when you call them, you talk to them, they smile, and then But the thing is, when you talk to them, you see the reaction, you see their facial expression. That says a lot. When it's already complicated at the beginning, just with conversations like that, trust me, there's a higher chance that there's going to be a lot of complications. So that's always
Well,
a sign.
well, and you hit something very important, which is when you're approaching somebody, their armor is going to be up. They're going to be suspicious of you. And the odds of them rejecting you are quite high, especially given the situations. For example, if you're approaching somebody in the middle of a deadlift or a squat and you're trying to flirt with them, they're probably going to reject you. However, if they're at a bar and they're looking at you repeatedly, it's like, okay, that will probably have a higher chance of success. However, I usually find when it comes to approaching people, the other person has their armor up. They're suspicious. They don't know what you want. Maybe you're dangerous. Maybe you're not. They don't know. They need to sift it all out. One of the goals is always to just help them lower their defenses down so you can see who they are and also invite them to just have that fun, playful conversation and say, hey, that's all we're here for. We're just here to have fun. I'm not here for to sell you anything. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm just here to have a conversation and just have fun with this.
Yeah, I think I like the fact that you can just say it up front, and this is my intention, and just to ease that. And I will also say, if for a single person out there, especially when you're in a particular space, it's always very good. I know it's always very good to be open-minded in terms of, or be open. So, like when someone approaches you, speak to you, smile. Start with that, regardless. Even if they're trying to sell you anything, trying to have a conversation with you, whatever, as long as they are reaching out to you, tapping you, or whatever, please smile. That helps a lot, because that could be an opportunity. That tap could be an opportunity. It could be your future husband. It could be future whatever it is. But regardless, smile. But yeah, I'm not gonna say walk around smiling everywhere. But regardless of your, your facial expression to start with, it's always good to just smile. Doesn't hurt to smile. It's good.
Smile, put yourself out there, accept that you're going to fail, and that's okay. Because the goal of flirting is just to have fun, build a little sexual tension, and keep it specific to the individual. You want to make them feel special. You want to make them feel heard. And you want to have fun. That's the biggest thing. But I think this is a great wrap up here. Do you have any closing comments or things that our listeners should be aware of when it comes to flirting?
Yeah, I think that I'm actually just kind of sum everything up, which is understand the goal of this, of why you're flirting, what is flirt, why are you flirting anyway, and be open minded, smile a lot, and be inviting, right? Position yourself, posture, the way your posture, all those things together, and you have a beautiful, beautiful experience. Hopefully, I pray. But yeah, just have fun. It's just have fun. That's it. And I'll say thank you guys for actually watching us today. We're so excited, and we can't actually wait to see or to hear from you. What do you think? What's your experience like when it comes to flirting? And if you are looking for an amazing coach to work with, or just check the description. You would Adam details is down at the description. And if you're looking for matchmaking, or you're looking for a single community, my detail is also down at the description as well. Adam, do you have anything to say before we play the
I
night?
love it. And if you got any tips for flirting, put it down in the comments because I know I see it. You guys are hurting out there and it's hard. So help each other out. Put your tips in the description. We will definitely be reading it. But again, please like, subscribe, and send this video to somebody that could use a little bit of information, just how to flirt.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to see you guys in the next video. Take care.
Bye for now.